believe we are live. Yeah, so we are just going to get this started. Let me check the chat in a second. I'm just generating this world. So, yeah. Alright, right now we have 0 participants in the chat. Expect that to build up as we start the stream and more people start to come into the chat. So yeah, I'm gonna tweet out that I am live. I guess I should also make a community post as well, because right now we have 0 participants and we do not want the stream to be dead. So before we get started with this, I'm going to make a community post. So yeah, let's do that. Alright, we have 4 people in the chat. People are starting to come in the chat. Good. Alright, so, I guess we have people here right now. It says we have 8 participants in the chat. Guys, do be sure to, talk in the chat because, we do not want the chat to be dead. Alright, guys, thanks for coming in. We've got now up to 10 people according to, Streamlabs. We're just gonna start. I'm gonna not waste too much time on this world because I do not want it to be, night. Whoa, you can't hear my voice. Thank you for telling me. Hold on. Let's see this. Alright. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear? Hold on. Can you guys hear me now? Let's see. Alright, you guys can hear me now? Good. Alright. I almost had a heart attack because I am very bad with Streamlabs, and that would not have been fun. So, just to get started with the stream, this is a stream that I've been wanting to do for a while because people have been asking me to play Minecraft for a while. I was originally going to stream Bed Wars, but that did not work out. I'm probably going to do that later sometime, though. So, that's going to be fun. Yeah, now, I'm just going to do this. Now, you guys can ask political questions, kind of ask me anything while I play Minecraft. This is going to be a pretty chill stream. I'm not going to stream for too long. I don't have, I'm not going to stream for like 6 hours. Like I know a lot of streamers want to do a speed run. I'm not going to do a speed run. I'm probably just going to stream and see how well I can do in this world. Probably not going to do too well because I haven't played Minecraft in a very long time, or at least vanilla Minecraft. But, yeah, so be sure to put questions in the chat, guys, and I'll answer them. So, yeah, let's just have a good time here. Alright. We've got our first question. Do you think that Murkowski can win in 2022? So, Murkowski's got a really interesting situation where we have, Alaska is a state that's going to be implementing ranked choice voting, which is really helpful to people like Lisa Murkowski because she really has the ability to appeal to a lot of moderate Democrats who may not, because Alaska, the parties are fairly independent, and so there might be a lot of moderate Democrats in Alaska who may not necessarily be too, I guess, established with the main party. So I think that Lisa Murkowski has that going for her. Oops, I forgot how to craft an axe. And she can definitely have that appeal to some Democrats who would rank her second, maybe, in a hypothetical. Let's say we have Al Gross, Lisa Murkowski, and Kelly Toshiba in that 2022 Senate race. So she has that. She has the ability to appeal to those Democrats on the ranked choice voting, second ballot, kind of like what we saw in New York City. Now, that being said, Murkowski's issue isn't if she can get crossover Democrats or crossover appeal from Democrats. She can absolutely do that, and I think that she could win re-election as a result of just getting her base moderate Republican support plus Democrats ranking her second. Now, the issue that she would have in this hypothetical matchup with her and Al Gross and Kelly Toshiba is, would she be able to come in second? Because Toshiba would have the biggest base in Alaska. Alaska is a red state. There are a lot of libertarian populist Republicans there, and she could really have that going for her. Now, Al Gross also has in this matchup, would have a solid Democratic base that would definitely be really coming out for him. Now, I know he didn't do too well in the Senate race. He did worse than expected in the Senate race, and I don't think he's a great candidate. But that being said, he's still a candidate that would have a solid base of support, in urban Anchorage or in, with Native American voters up north. So I think he would absolutely have that going for him. And Murkowski, she'd really have that small selective group of moderate Republicans that would really definitely help her out, come out and vote for her. But she doesn't really have, that base isn't as big as, the populist conservative Republicans and Democrats in the state. So if she came in third, if she comes in second, I think she could absolutely win as a result of ranked choice voting. Now, if she were to come in third place, but behind Toshiba and Gross, which is also possible, that would be a really bad scenario for her, and it would result in, I believe, her being eliminated from even being counted in ranked choice voting, which would be really unfortunate for her. Now, I know there are people who are more bullish on Murkowski. There are people who aren't as bullish on Murkowski. For me, I'm not really. I'm not going to say that I'm bullish or not bullish on her yet. I think it's too early to say whether she's really realistically going to be winning re-election anytime soon, or is going to be losing. And I think we're going to have to wait till we see some more stuff come out. Who her opponents are going to be, what's going on in that primary. So, yeah. And I know in the chat, Matthew Tower says. Let's see what we've got. This is good chat, guys. Keep asking questions. Let's see. Matthew Tower says, if you look at Elections Daily, they have an excellent article as to why Murkowski is in dire straits. So you're right. Murkowski is in the toughest spot she's been in her political career. And 2010, she ran a really tough. Actually, and not even she has not gotten more than half the vote in any of her Senate races. So. She won 2004 with I think 48% of the vote. She won in 2010 with she won as a write-in candidate and got I think 40% of the vote. In 2016 she won. We saw her running as the Republican. Then there was Joe Miller, the Libertarian. There was I think another Independent. Then there was Ray Metcalf, the Democrat. So she is a really interesting candidate to look at. But I think we've talked about her enough for right now. Right now I think she's going to win re-election, but a lot could change them, and I would never ever count Kelly Toshiba out, or even something wacky happening in Alaska where you see a 2008 situation where the Democrats win a really weird Senate race there. So that could easily happen, and I would not I guess count it out from happening. So yeah. Now let's I'm getting a little distracted right here. Let's check on the chat. All right, did you see the new Texas map? I did not. I think I made a joke. I posted it on Twitter that there was a new Texas map, but that was a joke. I think I drew an illegal gerrymander, whatever. Okay, let's see. Did you get the stream idea from LTE? So I actually did watch LTE's Election Eve Minecraft stream, and I'm gonna say that I did get this idea from him. I've been wanting to do it for a long time before the election, but I guess I'll say I got it from him because he did kind of remind me of doing that back when he did it on November 2nd. So I guess I'll say I got the idea from him. I beat UEP on UEP. Yeah, Politics Gaming and I had a mini subscriber war. I think I overpassed him, but he's about to hit 5K too, so absolutely do go subscribe to him if you have not already. Let's see. Candace Hansis gained back the suburbs. So for the GOP, the suburbs are trending blue, and you can't hide that. People who say that the suburbs are going to revert in 2022 or 2024, I don't think they're looking at the full picture. Now, that being said, Ron DeSantis is a good candidate for the suburbs relative to other Republicans, because he doesn't use Trumpian rhetoric, right? And Trumpian rhetoric really hurt Donald Trump in the suburbs. He said a lot of stuff that he should not have said, politically speaking. I think that if he hadn't bashed John McCain and said said that he liked people who weren't captured because McCain was a prisoner of war, I actually think he would have won Arizona. I think he lost Arizona just because of that, and that is really bad news for the Republican Party that the suburbs are trending away from them. And it's not only a Trump thing. The suburbs have been trending away from the GOP for long before Trump. 2004, George W. Bush had, amazing numbers in the suburbs. We can, look at, he won Harris County, Texas, for example. I know he was the governor of the state. I know he had a really good performance in Texas, but he still won it, and he still did very well in a lot of places in Texas. So, yeah. Now, that being said, there are, again, suburbs turning away from the GOP have been since before Trump. That being said, Trump accelerated the trend, in my opinion. I think that his rhetoric really hurt the GOP in a lot of suburbs across America, and he did not do himself any favors in a lot of states like Arizona, or he did not do his party any favors in Georgia, where I think that he made it really hard for them to win those runoffs, and they ended up losing control of the Senate as a result of that. And really the Georgia runoffs were a really bad showing for the GOP, and it's going to go down as one of their most embarrassing losses in recent memory. So DeSantis can gain back the suburbs, but he's not going to do, maybe like a Romney 2012 or Bush 2004. He can do a little better than Trump in some regions, but the suburbs are trending away from the GOP, and there is no denying that at all. Now, for Minecraft, I need some light here because I do not have any torches, and I forgot how to make charcoal, so we're going to have to craft a furnace here and figure that out. Let's see, what else do we have? Why'd you put Wisconsin blue in your prediction? I think you're talking about my Senate map, and I've talked about this a lot, and I think that actually American Predictions was on the live stream that I was on with Per Political Talk, where I said, Wisconsin is a state that the Democratic Party has good fun. They have won elections there, and they have a good state party there. So they are, realistically speaking, at least, going to likely win that race because Ron Johnson is not a very popular candidate. I don't think that he is, I'm not saying he's a bad, I'm not saying he's unpopular, but he's, Donald Trump lost the state, and he had great appeal to working class voters and rural voters. You cannot convince me that Ron Johnson is going to do as well as Donald Trump in rural and working class areas of Wisconsin. That's just not realistic, in my opinion. So that's why I think Johnson is going to lose in 2022. Could he win? Yes. There's a reason it's tilt and not safe blue, but I do think that Donald Trump had a really good performance in a lot of areas in Wisconsin, and for that reason, I think Ron Johnson is going to lose, and lose by similar amounts as Trump, because he could definitely do a little better in the WoW counties, which are the Milwaukee suburbs, but I don't see him doing too much better because Johnson has tied himself to Trump, and he's kind of Trumpism without Trump, but he's not as good at it as, say Ron DeSantis is, in my opinion. So, yeah. What other questions do we have in the chat? Let's see. Okay. Which candidates most likely to flip Florida Senate in 2022? Florida Senate's not flipping, and I will say that. But if it were to flip, I guess I would say maybe, hypothetically speaking, I'd say maybe Stephanie Murphy was the best candidate, and I think that it's actually good for Democrats that she dropped out of the race, because she was going to raise a ton of money and lose and, pull like a Jamie Harrison in South Carolina, where Harrison lost that race but raised way too much money. And, Democrats in the past, especially in 2020, they played a very wide map where they invested in Kansas, they invested in South Carolina, they invested in Alaska, and it did not end well for them because they lost a lot of toss-up races that had they poured a little more money into Maine or South or North Carolina, I think they could have had a bigger Senate majority, and that really was not helpful for them. So I think that they've learned. I don't think the Democrats are going to play a wide map again anytime soon, at least in the Senate. And, yeah. Now, that being said, I do think that there are some candidates other than Stephanie Murphy who could do better in Florida Senate. I think that Rubio is actually going to win by a little less than people think. I just dug into. Okay. I think Rubio is going to win by a little less than people think. People say he's going to win by like 10. I think he's going to win by 5 or 6% because he's not going to do as well as Trump in the rural parts of the state because he didn't in 2016. He probably won't do it again. And I think that he does a little better than Trump in Miami-Dade County and southern Florida, as well as in the suburbs, obviously. So he wins by more than Trump, but he's not the electoral behemoth that people think he is. I'm not saying he's going to lose. I'm just saying that I think he's a little overrated in that regard. So, yeah, let's go back up. Check the chat. Are you pro-life or pro-choice? That's a really personal question. I'll answer it, but I'm not going to talk about that too much in this channel. I am personally pro-choice, but I respect all views in that regard. It's a very very touchy issue, so I'll leave it at that. I am pro-choice, but you can really have your own opinion on that issue, and I'm not going to talk about it beyond that. All right, let's see. You're on Streamlabs. Yes, I am. Alaska is home to very strange races. That's very true. Is there a path to re-election for Laura Kelly? So Laura Kelly, I think she's going to lose. I think she's going to lose by more than people think, and it's because polarization is going to catch up to her. And I know people said that in 2018 that she wasn't going to beat Kobach. And I have been a little more bullish on Democrats in Kansas in the past. I said before Chris Kobach lost the GOP primary, I said that Kobach could have lost that race and it would have been a toss-up if he'd won the nomination. Looking back, I don't think it would have, realistically speaking, but I do think that Laura Kelly is going to lose because she is she hasn't really branded herself as moderate. She's governed as a Democrat. She's, expanded Obamacare in the state, which isn't really an unpopular move on her, but I do think that she is a candidate that is not going to win because she hasn't branded herself as a moderate the way we saw, maybe Charlie Baker in Massachusetts or Phil Scott in Vermont, because Scott governs literally as a liberal Republican, right? Kelly has not governed as a conservative Democrat. She's not pro-choice, or she's not pro-life. She's not pro-gun. She's just a Democrat who won a lucky race in 2018. And for that reason, I think that she's going to lose re-election by 5 to 7%. She could make it lean, and there are people who say it's lean. I don't disagree with that. I just think that she's going to lose by more than people think. Let's see. But yeah, I answered that question. Is it hard to play and talk at the same time? Yes, I'm going to randomly zone out for sure. Thank you for asking that question, because if I zone out, it's because I got focused on something else in this game, and my apologies for that. I'm also kind of hungry, which is inconvenient right now. I should have eaten before, but it's 12 o'clock my time. It's 12:14 on the West Coast, which is where I live, and I did not have lunch or breakfast, so that's fun. Fabio Andres Fabiani says hi. Have you ever watched one of my videos? American predictions. I don't think I have. I've known your channel has existed for a little bit now, but I don't think I've ever watched one of your videos. But I am very glad to see that the election prediction community is expanding to more and more people, because the more election forecasting YouTubers like you, the better. So I'm glad you are making a channel, and I'm glad you're posting videos to that channel. Pro Political Talk. What's up, Pro Political Talk? I'm a little biased. Or I'm a little late. I don't know why I said biased. I think I read someone say biased, but I'm a little late because there's a delay, and I talked way too long about Lisa Murkowski. So if your question's not being answered immediately, just know I'm like a little behind in the chat. So right now I'm looking at Pro Political Talk. Let's see, Pro Political Talk. Do you think Trump will run in 2024? I think he's gonna run. I don't. It's really tough to see, because that would be like asking me in July of 2017 if Joe Biden was going to run in 2020. I probably would have said yes, because there was always speculation about it, but it's really too tough to talk about, or it's really hard to tell. Well, let's go. I got cold. So that is, I think, something we should discuss a little bit right now, but I think it would be smarter to wait until we see, at least till after the midterms, because realistically most candidates don't announce their campaigns before the midterms unless their name is John Delaney, and most serious candidates like Donald Trump would not announce their candidacy until maybe spring of 2023, or the spring after the midterm elections. So yeah. Do you see what's happening in California? Anthony Trimino is running for governor. I'm making a video on that today or tomorrow. Cool. Pro Political Talk, our resident Floridian, says, I think Florida is closer than people think, but it will GOP. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Florida's not. People say that Florida's gone forever for the Democrats. That's not true. I think that's a bit of an overreaction. Florida is bad for Democrats right now, but I think it's mostly because the Florida Democratic Party is terrible at winning elections, and because their Hispanic outreach programs in the past few elections have been really bad. So for that reason, I think Florida is not gone for Democrats in the future. It's leaning Republican for sure, and I think the Republicans are going to win the next couple statewide races, the next couple election cycles. But maybe in 6 years, the Democrats could win a governor race or a Senate race there. So, yeah. Let's see. I need to craft some more torches because this is getting annoying. Let us see. Alright. I live in the West Coast. Cool. Okay, guys. Tell me which states you live in, because I want to know where my viewers are from. I can look at the YouTube demographics section, but what I want to do is just see where you guys are from, because that's cool. I'm from California, but yeah, let's see. What other political channels do you watch besides LTE? For like me, for example, so my favorite, crap, I just fell. Whoa, that's not good. Oopsies. So my favorite channel to watch politically is probably Purple Political Talk. I know he's in the chat, and I do collab with him. So shout out to Purple Political Talk. I've been working with him for, I believe, a year now, which is really cool. So Purple Political Talk is one of my favorite channels to watch. Some people, I do watch LTE from time to time. I think he's a pretty good content creator. And if like, again, if this is bait for me to, like, you know, go on a rant about election prediction YouTubers, I'm not going to. I think that everyone who does election forecasting, I'm really cool with, because I think it's a good thing to do, and I'm glad that people who are younger, like myself, are, you know, taking interest in politics no matter what side of the aisle you're on. So if you watch, if you make political content that's, you know, not inflammatory, not offensive, I really like your channel. It's for that reason. So yeah. Let us see. I think the governor race might be closer anyway. I think you're talking about Florida. Yes, I think that DeSantis is gonna, you know, people say he's safe. I think he's gonna win by a likely margin on the lower end too. I think it could easily fall to, you know, a lean margin. You know, people forget Trump only won Florida by 3. People are gonna like Trump won Florida by 25 points. You know, we could easily see DeSantis only win Florida by like 3 points, and that would be really good news for the Democrats, because it means that Trump kind of hit the I guess they hit the ground in 2020 in Florida. So yeah, let's see. Minecraft just froze on my screen. It's getting laggy. All right, I think that will fix now. Let's see. Nome probably won't run because the GOP would choose DeSantis or Trump before her. Yeah, Kristi Nome, I don't think she's going to run for president in 2024. I think that even if she did, she'd drop out after Iowa, because she doesn't have that appeal. She has a very select group of, I guess, evangelical conservatives that would, I guess, turn out for her a little bit, but for the most part, I don't think that she'd do very well in a primary, and she'd, you know, I think most of her support would go to someone like Donald Trump. So yeah, why is there wood here? Whoa, I don't want to die. That would be annoying. I think I have to get out because I don't have a sword, and that's a bad decision right now. Hold on. Oh, frick. This is not good. Whoa. Okay, I just panicked. Whoa, that's scary. That was scary. Okay. I'm at half a heart now. I took a chance that I could beat a skeleton with a pickaxe, and it did not work out very well. Let's see. Maryland, Hawaii, Florida. All right, so people are getting what states they live in. Cool. So Maryland, Hawaii, Florida, California, gain. Cool, you live in California. Connecticut, California, California. Labor or Conservative Party. Thoughts on the 2019 UK elections. So, I guess in the United Kingdom I'd probably be a swing voter, mostly because I wouldn't tie myself too close to either the Labor Party or the Conservative Party. I remember at the time in 2019 I supported the Conservative Party. I wanted them to gain seats. Because at the time I was pro-Brexit. I'm not as pro-Brexit as I used to be, but I will say that I think that both the Labour Party and Conservative Party is okay. As of right now, I don't really, like, they had recent, you know, I guess some by-elections recently. I supported the Labour Party in those elections, so I'd be a swing voter. I'd probably lean Labour, though, so, yeah. Let us see. I think Florida will be DeSantis plus 5 max. You know, I could see that happening. I think DeSantis is going to win by probably around 5%. So that's a good margin. Maximum, I'm not sure about that, but it could easily be 5%, you know. We don't really know as of right now, so I'll leave it at that. Florida, and again, we're going to have plenty of time to talk about Florida in the future, because Florida is a state that the Democratic Party really needs to win back sometime soon, and I think there's been a lot of talk about it, and we're definitely going to talk about Florida more in the future. Don't die. Yeah. That was actually, you know, not even gonna brag about that, but I think that was a pretty, you know, I'm reading about what people were saying when I was about to die to a skeleton. That was a pretty cool move, if you ask me. No, I'm joking. I should have carved that skeleton, but I have not played Minecraft vanilla in a long time, so we're gonna have to pretend like I know what I'm doing here, and I'm gonna craft a sword because I don't want that to happen again, where I die to a skeleton, because that would be unfortunate, and I would, because I still haven't set my spawn point yet, so I need to find a bed, actually. So we're gonna actually stop mining. We're gonna go craft a chest, put some stuff in the chest, and go find a bed, or find a sheep to get wool off of, because I do not have any intention of dying and then not finding my spawn point. So yeah, my pickaxe just broke. Alrighty, let's see. Whoa. Okay. I'll check on the chat in a second. I'm just gonna put this stuff away in my chest. Luckily, I have coal, which is gonna be helpful. Let's see. Okay, I guess we're just gonna do this. I'm gonna put that away. Smelt. We're gonna smelt some iron while we're gone, so we can get armor later. But yeah. All right, let's go. So, do you endorse me, Kevin, for whatever? What is your favorite Minecraft mob? I've always thought Endermen were cool. When I was little, when I like used to play Minecraft like every day in like 2013, I used to love Endermen. I don't know why, but I guess they're pretty cool because they can teleport and because they're, you know, they're neutral until you attack them. So they're just unique characters, I guess. For that reason, I guess I've always liked Endermen, but right now, I guess my favorite character is probably a villager because they're very useful and because you can loot their stuff. So yeah. Do you believe in the Overton window? Yes, I do. That is a very interesting theory we're going to talk about on this channel a lot. Just not right now because it's a very complex thing to explain. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I highly recommend you guys to look up Overton window because it is very, very, very interesting. DeSantis will win by in between 4 and 8 points. I think right now he's going to win by 5, which is what I think Pro Political Talk said. And I'll trust Purple Political Talk on this because you know, first of all, he lives in Florida, and I think he has a pretty good view on what the feel is there. Because he did call Florida correctly in the 2020 election, so I think that I'll trust Purple on this. I think he's going to win by 5 as well. Who do you think will win Georgia in 2022? I think the Democrats are going to have a clean sweep of Georgia in 2022. I think that if Brian Kemp gets the GOP nomination, he'd probably lose to Stacey Abrams by 3 to 4%. Because he really would not do great in the suburbs because Stacey Abrams did very well in the suburbs in 2018. And they're just trending blue, so I think she'd do even better in the suburbs in 2022 than 2018. And Kemp just has really alienated the Trump base because, you know, he didn't try to really overturn the election results in Georgia. Not that he could. He was in a really tough situation, but he has kind of hurt himself with the Trump base for that reason. And I think that he realistically would lose re-election, especially because he doesn't really have that support he had in 2018. Now, let's see. What else do we have? Jeremy Corbyn was so terrible, that's why Labour lost so many working... Yeah, Corbyn was a really bad leader. He did not know how to run in my opinion, he did not really know how to run a campaign. And, you know, people said he was good because he overperformed in 2017. Corbyn didn't... That was not Corbyn. That was the apathy against the Conservatives that existed in Britain, and I think for that reason, Labour did so well in 2017. They still didn't even win, and, like, people act like it was a Labour wave. They gained a couple seats when they're expected to lose seats. They just did a little better than people thought. And they still didn't have control of Parliament. So, let's go find a sheep. So, for that reason, I think that Corbyn was a bad leader. Keir Starmer is the current leader. I don't think Keir Starmer is much better, though. So, Labour is, right now, Labour is in really big trouble because they have not gotten it together, and they're going to keep losing elections. And, you know, there were some elections in May in Britain. It wasn't a general election, but it was an important election to watch. And Labour did very poorly in that election as well. So, the Conservatives have a foothold on British politics right now, and it's not going to change. I found a sheep. Anytime soon. So, yeah. That is what I think about British politics. No one likes Kamala. Yeah, I think Kamala Harris is a pretty poor candidate for Democrats in 2024. I think that she doesn't have working class appeal, and she could do okay in the suburbs. I think that she has that somewhat suburban appeal, but I don't think, realistically speaking, that she would necessarily do very well in swing states. I think that she'd lose Michigan, lose Wisconsin, potentially win Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania would be a pure toss-up, but, you know, Joe Biden won Pennsylvania, and it was lean for him. I think that Kamala Harris would be a toss-up for her, and she could easily lose it to someone like Donald Trump. So, yeah. Now, on a side note, I need to find where my base is, because it would not be helpful for me to lose my base or die here, because, yeah, let's see. Jeremy Corbyn couldn't appeal to anyone. Yeah, Corbyn and Kamala are similar, because they have, you know, they have a certain type of voter that they appeal to, but that type of voter is not very common, and that voter does not come out to vote as much. So I think Corbyn and Kamala, that's a good comparison. If you had to pick one European politician, who would it be? Putin, Merkel, Macron, or Johnson? In terms of policy, I would say Merkel, maybe Macron as well. I mean, they're both centrist politicians, which I like, and they both have, I think, done a good job. Boris Johnson is okay. I don't really hate on him too much, but he's done a few things that I've disagreed with in the past, like his handling of COVID. I don't think was great. Jeremy Corbyn is what happens when you're in left-wing social media circles too much. Yeah, that is very, very, very true. And you know, even in 2017, Labor ran a very online campaign, and they got a couple voters out to vote, but they still did not do very well in the grand scheme of things. And they tried that in 2018 or in 2019, and spoiler alert, they did not do very well in that election, or they lost. They lost terribly. For those of you who don't know British politics, they lost seats they hadn't lost since like the 1940s. So, to put that in perspective, it was not a good night for Labour in 2019. Who's your favorite governor? I don't really know. I'd say probably Tony Evers is one of my favorite governors. Phil Scott's a good governor. I need to get home. I really need to get home. Phil Scott's a good governor. Who else do we have? J.B. Pritzker, I think, has done some good things for Illinois. I like Larry Hogan as well. Hogan's done a good job with his state. So, yeah. What else? Putin is actually the smartest political figure in the world. Doesn't mean he's good. I mean, he's smart. I think whether you want to talk about his leadership and the way he governs is another thing. We're not going to get into that, though, because that is a topic that we are going to stay away from. Now, what I do not need to do, I need to find my house, because if I am running around here at night, that's not going to end very well for me, and I'm just going to, you know, I'd rather not die on a live stream, because that would be not fun and not good. Alright, I do see a nice little lake. I guess I can maybe camp out. Worst case scenario, I guess I camp out here for the night while I answer some questions. I guess I'll just stay in a little box for a little bit and answer some questions. I guess I might have to just make a shelter for the night, and then I'll find my house during the day. Oh, that's a creeper. Oh man. Okay. I'm glad I brought my sword out with me, because that would not have been convenient if I did not have a sword. Let's kill a chicken for dinner. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay, let's go up here. Let's kill this chicken too. Oh no, that's a creeper, and I do not want. Okay, that did minimal damage. I need to find a hill to create a home in, because I do not want to. I'll be running around here while answering questions. That would be very hectic. I know how someone in the jungle. Okay, I see. I didn't bring a pickaxe, of course. Of course, I did not bring a pickaxe. What am I thinking here? Did I bring an axe? No, I didn't do that either. So I guess I'm just gonna have to dig this with a sword and put some dirt over me and wait for the night to come, or for day to come, because that's not fun. Alright, we're gonna answer some questions now. We're gonna stop doing Minecraft for a second and answer some questions. Okay. This will allow me actually to. I shouldn't have broken that, but I guess we'll have allowed me whatever. Okay. So let's see. Do you think the filibuster would change at all in the near future? Absolutely not. Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema have made it clear that they're going to be stubborn on that issue and not going to change it really anytime soon. And you know, Joe Manchin is an old school Democrat. He would not vote to nuke the filibuster, because I think he thinks that it would be, realistically speaking, something that would hurt his party in the long term. Kirsten Sinema, I think, is just a moderate who is just against it for I guess reasons of her political beliefs, and I think also, you know, it's not only Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. I think there are a lot of other Democrats who are hiding behind Manchin and Sinema who feel the same way about nuking the filibuster. All right, Axolotl is the best Minecraft mob. Yeah, my brother likes axolotls. He is really interested in them. I don't really know the use of them in Minecraft because I haven't played in a while, but yeah, let us see. Let's check the chat again. Alright. UK politics or Canadian politics. I think UK politics more interesting, but Canadian politics I think I agree with more. Also because Canada, I think that Canada has the best example of a competent left-wing party. Because Canada, realistically speaking, it's the only left-wing party that actually wins elections consistently, and the Canadian Labour, I think they lost the popular vote in 2019. They still won the majority of seats, so that was, you know, like, imagine if the Democrats lost the popular vote, they would have had 150 seats in the House, and it would have been really, really bad for them. I love people act like Corbyn won a landslide in 2017. Yeah, Corbyn did a very, very, very. He was overrated, and I think he knew that, and he actually stepped down as a leader after 2019 because I think he knew that he was not the right fit for the United Kingdom, and I think that he knew that, and I think that that's why he left. Now, I'm not saying Keir Starmer is really a better leader. I think that Labour just needs to go the populist route because they're trying to just run, average left-wing politicians, and they're getting rejected by Britain. Britain is a center-right country, as is America, and I think when you run left-wing politicians that don't have that populist appeal, like Keir Starmer, like Jeremy Corbyn, you're not going to win elections, and I think for that reason, that's why Britain is staying under conservative rule for the time being. Let's see, what else do we have? Purple Political Talk says, yes, I stand Maria Elvira Salazar. Yeah, she's a popular moderate Republican from Florida, and I think she's going to win re-election 2022 because she has that appeal to Hispanics who might be Democrats but like moderate Republicans. Starmer won't get back the anti-Corbyn voters, probably. Yeah, you're right. It's a similar thing with the Republican Party. For example, even if the Republicans ran a establishment candidate like Nikki Haley, she would not necessarily get back all of the anti-Trump voters that left the party in 2020 or 2016. I think we see the same thing in Britain. There were a lot of anti-Corbyn voters who just voted for the Conservatives in 2019. Keir Starmer did not get them back, and he's not going to. Yeah, again, Canadian politics is kind of boring, but UK politics is yeah. I mean, I think I agree with people, or I think I like, for example, Justin Trudeau. I like him more than Boris Johnson, so that's why I said Canadian politics. Pennsylvania will be a razor-thin state for several cycles. Absolutely. I think that Pennsylvania is a state that, it's interesting because on one hand you see the suburbs of Pennsylvania, like Chester County, Montgomery County, Bucks County. Those areas are trending to the left, and that's why Joe Biden did not win Pennsylvania because he did well with working-class voters. He won Pennsylvania because he did better in the Philadelphia suburbs than any Democrat since Bill Clinton, and we did not see necessarily a reversion of these working class voters. In a lot of areas, especially in like Ohio, for example, they came up for Trump stronger than they did in 2016. Now in Pennsylvania, Joe Biden did flip back some working class counties. He flipped back Erie County. He flipped back, I believe, some counties near Scranton. He won Lackawanna, but I think he did a little better in some counties around Scranton that were working class that Hillary Clinton did not do as well in. So yeah. Biden would have been overthrown by the Senate. Yeah, Israeli politics are really messy. They can essentially get rid of the prime minister at any time, as can, I guess, any parliamentary democracy, but it doesn't realistically happen anywhere except for Israel. Let's see. Do you think that COVID should have been happening in the more open libertarian form or in a more government-controlled closed way? So this is a really tough question, and I don't want to talk about COVID too much because, I think that it's a really polarizing issue, and I don't want to politicize it any more than it already is. So, personally, I think that governors, and again, I'm not going to tie myself to Ron DeSantis, but I think that DeSantis did a better job on COVID because he really kind of kept Florida open. What I would have done if I were governor, I would have said, maybe at the beginning, March through mid-May, lockdown, 2 months. But it soon became clear, by the time summer hit, it became clear the lockdowns were not working, and a lot of people just weren't following the rules. So I think what we should have done is just had a mask mandate until people got vaccinated by the end of 2020 or early 2021. You should have had to wear a mask until you're vaccinated. I wore for the whole school year. I wore a mask to school. I got vaccinated in my first dose in mid-May, then fully vaccinated in the beginning of June. I wore a mask every day I went to school. So I think we should have worn masks instead of prioritizing lockdowns. And I think a big mistake that President Trump made is I think he should have worn a mask earlier on. And I think that it was both politically a bad decision for him and a bad decision for the country because we saw a lot of people refuse to wear masks. And I really didn't like how it was politicized because I've always been wearing a mask and it doesn't really say much about my ideology. Now, that being said, I do think that the Democratic Party, didn't do a great job. I don't really think that either party did a great job on COVID. I do think the Democratic Party really could have done a lot better with their messaging, And there were some governors, like for example, Andrew Cuomo of New York, who, as we learned, really in a lot of people's eyes handled that situation poorly. And I think that he was someone who kind of, I guess, locked his state down a little too much, in my opinion. And again, people's views can change on this. I was originally pro lockdown. That changed because I think that lockdowns really cost more jobs, and the cure was worse than the I guess the effects of coronavirus in many ways. You're talking too quietly. My apologies for that. I hope it's fixed by now, because if not, that's bad. Who's watching the Euros tomorrow? I am. I'm all in for Italy, but unfortunately, they're probably gonna lose. I hope. Don't get me wrong. I hope that Italy wins, because I'm sick of England. You need to turn up your mic volume. Let's see. Is the microphone better now? Is the volume better now? It might have been a little quiet before, but yeah, it's coming home. I hope not. Gonna watch the Euros as well. Copa America. Yeah, everyone's supporting Italy. Oh, Matthew Tower says he hopes England wins. Wins. I just want a good game. Yeah, I'm also rooting for a good game because I was actually rooting for France, but we all know how that went. What are your thoughts on the new Texas map? I haven't seen that. Can someone tag me on Twitter with a Texas map, because I didn't see it, because I made a joke about it, but did Texas actually release a new map? Because that would be interesting if they did do that. Let's see. Who's the best and worst senator, Brett, currently, in your opinion? This is another opinion question. So in my opinion, the best senator, I'd probably say Sherrod Browner or John Tester. In terms of because I'm a Democrat, and I think it's cool that they represent blue states or super red states like Ohio and Montana, but they vote with the Democrats nearly every time. Like John Tester, like if I gave you only John Tester's voting record, you'd say that he's a Democrat from Massachusetts, but he's a Democrat from Montana who wins re-election. Now, Sherrod Brown, I think, is cool because he's more populist, and I think that he really has that appeal to working class voters, which I think is cool, and I think he really cares about working class voters. So for that reason, I like them. I'm also a fan of more moderate senators, like I guess I could say maybe someone like Mark Kelly. I really like Mark Kelly. I also like some progressives. Like I don't really moderate or progressive. I just like people individually. I found my house. Let's go. So for example, I do like Elizabeth Warren's probably the most progressive senator that I respect in the Senate, or that I would really root for, I guess you could say. But at the same time, I like moderates like Mark Kelly. I like, before they lost re-election, I was a really big fan of people like Claire McCaskill and Heidi Heitkamp. Now, the worst senator, I'd say, I don't know. Maybe, for different reasons, I think maybe Ted Cruz. I think Ted Cruz really has used polarizing rhetoric that I think is really bad for the country. Same with Josh Hawley. I think that the insurrection that we saw on January 6th was really horrifying. I think that Josh Hawley, that iconic picture taken of him where he, was like raising a fist up to the people who were about to loot and steal stuff from the Capitol. That was really a really scary picture for me, and I think that Josh Hawley is one of my. I don't really have a ton of respect for him for that reason, but at the same time, I also like I think that his $15 minimum wage bill is a good start. I'm actually not in support of $15 minimum wage, but I think that raising the minimum wage is a good idea, fundamentally speaking. So I think it's rhetoric that really I don't like a lot of senators for that reason. If Labor alternates with socialists, people will have no clear policy. They'll have a chance of becoming a third party. Yeah, you're right. Labor is on a really bad track right now, and I'm glad we're talking about this because when Labor runs just average, I guess, liberal politicians, I think it's not great for them for that reason. Let's see, what else do we have? Pennsylvania has so many countervailing trends. Yeah, that's true. Again, the working class and rural parts of the state are kind of trending red, whereas the suburbs of Philadelphia are getting bluer and bluer every election cycle, which is why it's going to stay a swing state for a very long time. Would Biden win the primary in 2016? If it's Clinton versus Biden versus Sanders, I actually think Sanders would win it because he did very well without Biden splitting the Clinton vote, because Biden and Clinton would do better with more moderate voters. Sanders, we kind of coalesce all the progressive voters in the primary. So for that reason, I think that they would Sanders would have actually won the primary, so no, Biden would not have won that primary, I guess you could say. I'm getting hungry. Let's see. Suga's unpopularity is unbeatable. Okay, yeah, I'm not really I'm not really familiar with Japanese politics either. The Liberal Democratic Party of Japan, which is actually a conservative right-wing party, is unbeatable. All right. Same as someone from England. I fully support the country going up against England. Interesting. Jeb will win the Euro because he is built different. Yeah, that is true. I think that right now the odds of Italy winning the Euros are 0.1% and 99.9% for Jeb. We obviously know Britain is going to win. Jeb Bush is, I think, fundamentally the right person to win the Euros. So I think we can kind of get behind that. And I think that, by the way, you know, people have asked me who's the best candidate for 2024 for either party. You know, all Jeb has to do is just get in the race. Just say, I'm running as a member of the Jeb party, and he's going to win every vote. Like, I have not met a single person in my life who would, you know, not vote for Jeb Bush. And I think for that reason, he would definitely win every single vote. And, you know, the only state that he wouldn't get 100% of the vote in is Wyoming, because Wyoming does not exist, and he'd actually get 0% of the vote in it. Now, they'd fake. Now, the government would break it to say that he got 100% of the vote in the black hole known as Wyoming, but, you know, they're just doing that because they know the Jeb is unbeatable, and that if he, you know, if he only got 99% of the vote in a state like Wyoming, people would have been very suspicious. So, yeah. Let's see. Sherrod Brown should have been Clinton's running mate. Yeah, I think that Sherrod Brown would have delivered the Rust Belt to Hillary Clinton if she'd chosen him as her running mate. Tim Kaine was kind of a boring pick in my opinion. He wasn't a bad pick. I mean, I guess he helped her win Virginia, but he kind of didn't really have that appeal to working class voters that Hillary Clinton certainly didn't have, and for that reason they narrowly lost the Rust Belt, and Tim Kaine did not become president, or did not become vice president of the United States, and was really the downfall of the Democratic Party. So Tim Kaine was, I guess you could say, a poor pick for Hillary Clinton. He didn't really have any scandals. He didn't hurt the ticket. I just think that she could have done a lot better with someone like Sherrod Brown, or maybe she could have picked Bill Nelson to win Florida. You know, reasons like that. She could have chosen Ron Wyden. Yeah, Bob Casey, another good one. Casey and Clinton would be a good ticket. Elizabeth Warren, yeah, she actually talked to about being her running mate, but I think that Warren turned her down, or I think, yeah, it didn't work out in the end. Apart from Biden, which Democrats have the best ability to possibly beat Trump in 2024, I don't think Kamala Harris can. Yeah, I agree. Kamala Harris, I think, would lose to Trump in 2024. I think Joe Biden, you know, we can flip people like Sherrod Brown or Roy Cooper, who are, you know, electoral juggernauts, but those are just hypotheticals, because I don't think that Cooper or Brown is going to run for president. Sherrod Brown, I think he looked at it in 2020, but he really, he didn't, and I think that he wouldn't run in 2024 because he'd be older by then. He's like 70 right now. He'd be 74 by 2024, or 73 maybe. So, yeah. For that reason, I think he probably would not run for president in 2024. Cooper could, because I think Cooper's like 10 years younger, but we're still not sure. And you know, it really comes down to what the environment looks like in 2024. And I talked about this earlier. Donald Trump is not. I don't think that it would be smart to make predictions on whether Trump's going to run in 2024, because we don't know what the political gravity is going to look like in 2024. We could easily see a very populist environment that would really want Trump, or we could see, you know, more of the same. We could see, you know, Joe Biden being a really popular president, and the Republicans not really wanting to run someone good to beat him, and kind of run a sacrificial lamb to lose to Joe Biden. So, yeah. Jeb all the way. Wyoming elections are rigged, so Jeb would lose. I mean, they are rigged, but, like, come on, the government isn't dumb enough to make Jeb lose, because I think that if Jeb lost, people would know that it was illegitimate, and they'd start questioning the existence of Wyoming, which is the last thing the government wants, realistically, because they're trying to silence us. Let's see. Yeah, Wyoming is only red because of gerrymandering. I agree. I think that, you know, Wyoming is a yellow state, realistically, because Wyoming has appeal to, or Shrek. I think Shrek has appealed to Wyomingites because he really embodies what Wyoming voters want, which is nothing because they don't exist. But if Shrek ran against Jeb, I think that'd be a really interesting matchup to watch. But for right now, it's not going to happen because the government is rigging everything, and because we're never going to see a good matchup in the presidency. And, you know, it's really sad because America's not going to have democracy unless we have a Shrek versus Jeb matchup, or, you know, a Chad versus Karen matchup. Right. We're probably going to wrap it up here. The chat is slowly dying, unfortunately, but put more questions in the chat. Someone asked for a name reveal. I think I might do a name reveal later, maybe, you know, for like another milestone. or I might do it on another live stream. I'm not sure yet. I guess I'll have to see because I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it right now. But I mean, like, you guys can guess my first name because people have told me that like I sound like a Joe. I don't really know what that means because I actually don't know anyone named Joe. I mean, like, I know Joe Mama, but I don't really know what that means. So yeah, you just make a 2024 election prediction with Jeb versus Shrek. I actually almost did that for April Fool's, but I think I did something else. I mean, I like did Jeb versus John Delaney. Oh, that's a witch. I think I did like Jeb versus John Delaney because they're the best memes from each party, and I think that Jeb actually should have won. I don't know why I tied it because I think we all know that Jeb is a much better candidate than John Delaney, but for the memes I had to tie it. So yeah, Trump got the highest share of the black vote for Republicans since 1980. Yeah, I mean, he is certainly someone who I guess had better appeal to black voters because he kind of ran a more populist campaign and he kind of, did better with older, more conservative black voters because black voters, they're a solid Democratic voting bloc, but a lot of the more older conservative black voters, especially, religious ones in the South, are not necessarily liberal voters. They're kind of Democrat because they are ancestrally Democrat, and they're kind of conservatives in a way because, black voters didn't vote for Bernie Sanders in the primary. Some of them did, but overall Bernie Sanders was someone who really, I guess you could say, his support came from progressive whites, not black voters. So that is why I do think that the black voters are more socially conservative, I guess, because they did come out for Joe Biden instead of Bernie Sanders. And I think that when we talk about black voters, I think that we forget that, like I said, many of them are religious and could easily vote Republican in the right situation, especially older ones that might, be socially conservative. Because I think there was a poll that was done by Survey USA a couple of years ago that showed that white male liberals approve more of gay marriage than Southern black voters that are older than 65 years old. And actually, this was a meme, but actually, there was a point in time where Donald Trump was approved of overall by black males over the age of 65 in Oklahoma, which is super random. But again, Trump made inroads with black voters, and you cannot deny that. Let's see, guesses for some names. Let us see. People say Matthew Tar says my guess is Nick. My guess is Andrew. My guess Xnopit. Sorry, Harold, but that's actually not my name. My name is not Xnopit. Unfortunately, I wish that was my name, but it's not. My name is much more boring than that. So yeah. All right. Let's see. It's actually night, and I think I lost my house again, which is really unfortunate because if I die here, that is not helpful. Let's see. Alright, we've got 21 people in the chat. Alright, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. It's 12:50 right now. I've been streaming for about 55 minutes. Yeah, so any final questions, you can put them in the chat. If not, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. So again, guys, thank you so much for 5,000. I didn't really do a formal thank you, which I guess I'll do now. So this channel has really become a huge part of my life over the past year, and I truly appreciate everything you guys have given me, all the support you've given me, and what you guys have done for me, and I cannot thank you enough. I cannot repay you. So to everyone watching this video, to everyone who's ever liked one of my videos, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. So yeah. Oh, let's see. We got a couple more questions. Zach, Adam, John Smith. My name is not John Smith. Thoughts on Cynthia Loomis? I mean, she's a Republican from a state that doesn't exist. I mean, she's involved in the conspiracy, so I guess there's that. But she's kind of a generic Republican in the Senate. She won her seat. She actually I only know this because I was looking at the election results recently, but she actually ran ahead of Trump in Wyoming by a little bit. She actually won, I believe it's Laramie County, or no, sorry, she won Albany County, and that was the county that Joe Biden won. So that's interesting. She did a little better with, I guess, moderate Republicans than Donald Trump did in Wyoming, which I think is not a surprise because, generic Republicans ran ahead of Trump at the down ballot in the suburbs. They did better than Trump, so I guess that's just something interesting that I learned recently. Are we friends with purple political who's PPA? Thank you for thank you guys. Have a good day. Thank you guys. Have a good day. But who's PPA is what I'm wondering. Is that political predictions in and out? Oh, PPA. I think he follows me on Twitter. I'm actually not sure if I've watched one of his videos before. Wait, no, I think I have, because I think he made a video talking about the electoral college method that I made up for one of my videos. So actually, no, I have actually watched one of his videos, from what I've watched, I think he's a good creator. So subscribe to him if you haven't watched, or if you're not already. Right, I've made my. Are you a Josh? No, I'm not a Josh. I'll say that. My name is not Josh, and I do not wear bracelets, and I do not upload videos to TikTok. Speaking of social media, really quickly before we head out, if you don't follow me on social media, please do. I'm on Instagram. I'm at UEP_YouTube. On Twitter, I'm at UEP_YouTube. If you comment on my posts, I'll probably follow you on Instagram as well, because I want to get to know you guys better. So, yeah. So I guess that's it. Follow me on social media. My channel associated social media. If you find me on my personal social media, I'll be a little confused and a little weirded out, and I'm not going to accept your requests, but unless you're one of my good friends. But follow the channel associated social media. So thank you guys so much for coming to the stream. We're going to wrap it up here for real. So I truly appreciate everything you guys have done for me. Hitting 5K means so much. And to all the people who are making political content out there, I was once there. I've seen people who have come to my videos who have 50 subscribers who make political videos. Keep up the grind. I know it's hard. There were times where I, below 1,000 subscribers, did not feel motivated, but it only gets easier. Once you hit 100, it gets easier. When you hit 500, it gets easier, and then you just slowly start to see that exponential growth in your channel. That I think is really cool to see. So, for the last time, thank you guys so much, and